The way you describe that, I'm envisioning the multiple chapters of Van Halen. Why did you make the conscientious decision to stop the book in 1984?
Because the original band was the band that was the driving force. That was the connection between the disparate parts of the musical world, if you will. And we were young. You know, we were the first record going platinum. It's incredible. That's something you can really never expect to happen again. You know, it was later on. That's for another book, but. The excitement and the confusion and the groping in the dark, if you will, and all the mistakes that we made and all the BS we had to endure, and then to recognize at the very end, you know, maybe we had one more record in us. It was very. You can't take it back, but those are the things that are in the back of your head. You know, the old expression of if you don't go over the edge, then you can't come back. You have to go too far to come back in. Does that make sense? Unfortunately, you know, we're human and we have made some bad choices. You know, it's the US Festival, for instance, was just a cluster. You know, nobody knew what the hell was going on. All we said was, you make sure you have enough power and we'll play. That's it.
In a sense, though, isn't that true rock and roll?
Bingo. That's exactly right. You just hit the nail on the head. After that, that's why the book ends with in 1984, because that was true rock and roll. After that, it became much more, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's not to say that it was not any good. We always did our best at whatever we were doing, but it wasn't the same.
But do you think all these alpha male personalities, do you think that was the reason for the success of the band?
Well, we were all, you know, egomaniacs to some degree, overly confident. Until you find out maybe you're not as good as you think you are. Then you plow right through it. This is the way we make a living, right? Everybody gets scared. Everybody, you know, doesn't want to try certain things, but you better do it or you ain't going to eat. That was literally the driving force for us. And of course, one thing led to another as we progressed through the hierarchy of the status in the bands. It coincided with the touring industry becoming more organized, and then MTV came, and so there were a number of things that were all happening at the same time that helped facilitate where we wanted to be. But all you really had to do was look at the people who came before you, who is successful, who is doing what you think you'd like to do, and how do you make that work for you? And that goes back to being an immigrant. You know, you try to fit in, and how do you make this work? You had the Stones, you had Zeppelin, you had the Beatles. Cream, yeah. Those guys were playing, they were improvising at such a high intensity. They only lasted three records, right? People don't really remember that. It was only 3 records they made, 3 or 4 at the most, and then it fell apart. You cannot perform at that level every night or whatever the touring schedule demands and not end up with something being, you know, exploding. It's a tense situation, and most of it's your own gauge of how you think you should be performing.
And you say that Dave had that same mentality as well.
You know, we knew it was going to take a lot of hard work, and we knew it was going to be it's going to involve a lot of luck. And there's the old expression, it's amazing how much more luck I have the harder I work. So we're well aware of what it takes, and because music and the perception of what you're doing is something that's malleable and bendable, and your perception can be skewed a little bit, you have to constantly adjust and adapt to what's going on around you. Otherwise, you do turn into a block of concrete. You know, it doesn't work that way. You need to be constantly, I don't want to use the word evolving, but you need to change. If you listen to the lyrics of Unchained, the first thing he says is change, nothing stays the same. I don't know if he was aware of it, but that's from the I Ching, right? I thought it was brilliant, but I didn't want to tell him that because that'd be the last time we'll ever get a voice in this band. But those things, just if you keep your eyes and ears open, it's an amazing way to live a life. You know, you have to be receptive to not only what's going on around you, but what people are up to and what their tastes, and I mean, it's so many things that I can't even put it in one conversation.
When I initially said that this was a sweet story, what I really loved about it was, fans are always looking for little nuggets, a little insight into the band. And, nobody had more of a front row seat to Ed's career than you. And I mean, even like little stories like, you win your first tickets to a concert and it's Eric Clapton in Pasadena at the Civic Center and sixth row seats, Ed brings his binoculars to still study them.
And that's absolutely true. I'm looking at Ed going, Ed, are you out of your mind?
All throughout the success and everything, did the relationship between you and Ed always stay consistent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was very early on. Our dad taught us, you better stick together, man, or they're gonna ream your ass. Because you're not only dealing with the band members and their perception of what's going on, and everybody makes bad choices, but when you do 3 in a row, kind of let's pull back a little bit. And there are business issues, and there just aren't enough hours in the day, and that's what's frightening about when you see these young people go into this line of work. You better have some good representation and people that you can trust, which is kind of an oxymoron.
So the book takes us right from the start, right from the birth,
Yeah.
You're born, Ed's born.
Yep. And again, so you don't know any different, but we actually grew up in what I would kind of loosely interpret as post-World War II Holland. The memories, the conversations and the memories of the war were constantly a topic of discussion. That and the television would show old war footage, and even from our house, you could look across, you could see houses that had not been rebuilt after they were bombed. So, you grew up in kind of a strange environment, if you will, but it's all we knew. Plus, by the time we were in Holland, our parents were biracial, so that was a problem for my mother, because the colonialization of Indonesia was to get minerals and all kinds of wealth out of the country, and then when the white people got kicked out, she had to come move to Holland with my dad, and the shoe was on the other foot. It was not good for her.
Your mom had a sister living
Yes.
in the United States at the time, Los Angeles.
Yes.
Where it seemed like it was greener pastures.
There's a reason to move. Let's pack up and let's go.
And your family was all for it.
Yeah, we did it. But that was because our dad never had any apprehension or anxiety about any of it. He said, as long as I got this, which is the saxophone and clarinet, he says, we're good.
And what about you and Ed?
We were playing piano. It was classical piano.
Did you have apprehension to come to the United States?
No. Because you pick it up from your parents. We're going to California. Where is that? I don't know, but let's do it. And so we did. We sold everything. We took the piano and the clarinet and the saxophone. That was it. Done.
And then
$25.
And then once you were introduced to American culture, that's when you discovered there was more than just a piano.
Oh yeah. Oh man. It was an overload. Holland is just, and I said in the book, it's just relentlessly gray. Now, I know a lot of people from Holland are going to call me and say, man, it's not like that all the time. Well, yes, it is. I talk to my cousin twice a week, and it's always either raining or gray. That's on the North Atlantic, right? So to come to California and have it warm and colorful and just the smell of the flowers and the tropical kind of vibe, that was it. We're here, Ed. This is it. We don't need anything else.